What is up, guys? First of all, I want to thank everyone for the overwhelming support and kind words and words of encouragement that everyone sent from the first video. And it really means a lot to me that you guys gave such a nice warm welcome to this new channel, and it makes me even more excited for what's to come for the videos here. So one of the questions I got asked a lot was, are you on any kind of special diet? And the answer is no, I'm not. I'm just on what's known as a calorie deficit. And after a few months of being on a deficit, I'm now a firm believer that abs are made in the kitchen. Because after all, what are abs? Abs are pandesals. And where are pandesals made? In the kitchen. You cannot argue with that logic. So in today's video, I want to share with you guys some of my dieting food, which allow me to A, be within my calorie deficit, and B, not hate my life while doing it. These recipes are some of my favorite foods, but within a workable calorie range. And if not, they are worth it in terms of protein. Now we're going with a different kind of worth it from the popular YouTube show, because our measure of worth it is with calories. What I mean by this is that food or a dish is worth it if it's within the 1 gram of protein to around 10 calories range. So for example, if it was around 700 calories, it would be worth it if it had around 70 grams of protein, give or take. Before we begin, I also want to give a shout out to my favorite YouTubers where I learned a lot of these recipes from: Will Tennyson, Greg Doucette, and Remington James. These guys really helped me with my diet. I kind of like cherry picked what I liked from their recipes and just made my own. So yeah. I also want to preface this by saying I am in no way a chef or a cook or anyone who is good at cooking at all, because like 5 months ago, I could only cook scrambled eggs, which weren't even that good, and tuna. So yeah, these recipes are super easy to make, super basic as well, so I think most of you guys will be able to make these recipes, and they also use a lot of ingredients that are available here in the Philippines. So if you want to skip to any particular recipe, I'll put the timestamps here and below the like button. And so yeah, without further ado, let's get to recipe number 1. Alright guys, so this is the first recipe. We're gonna start out with something pretty basic, and this is a chicken quesadilla. But actually, I've been eating quesadillas, and just recently I've realized that you can turn your quesadilla into something so much more yummy for some reason by just changing the form it's in, aka a Crunchwrap. So yeah, that's what we're making. It only takes 4 ingredients plus the seasonings, of course. So here we got some chicken breast. So this is 150 grams of chicken breast, 50 grams of Tex-Mex grated cheese. So this has mozzarella and red cheddar, I think. Is that the name? Yeah, something like that. And this is of the Arla variety. We got some diced up tomatoes, finely diced up tomatoes. This is 80 grams. And lastly, we got 1 Mexican tortilla from Bambi. This one I like. It's, I think, 160 calories for 1 tortilla, so it's pretty nice. And the only other thing you'll need is a George Foreman grill. Mr. Foreman, George, is our best friend because it's so easy to use. So we're gonna put the chicken in the Foreman, and then we're gonna assemble this dish. So let's do it. So I preheated the George Foreman grill, and I put some cooking spray, 0 calories. Well, 0 if you spray for 1/8 of a second. I don't ever spray for 1/8 of a second, but it says 0, so 0. So yeah, we're gonna put the chicken. So by the way, I seasoned the chicken with some salt, pepper, rosemary, and this Tajin Classico seasoning. I put this on literally everything. It's so good. And yeah, it just gives that extra kick. So let's just put this on the grill. That's hot. I'm gonna lay it flat and close it. So yeah, this is the first recipe. It's pretty basic. I mean, it only has 4 ingredients, and it takes like 0 skill to do this, except for like cooking the chicken and maybe like folding up the tortilla. But yeah, but the result, I'm so hungry right now, so I can't wait to eat this. Let's check on our chicken. Doing well. I'd rather have some tough chicken than some chicken sashimi, so let's just let it chill there. And I kind of like my chicken more grilled. All right, we have pulled our chicken from the grill. It looks pretty okay. I hope it's cooked all the way through. Now we slice up the chicken into little, maybe cubes, but just small enough. Yep, cooked all the way through. All right, so you don't have to use chicken for this recipe. You can use any protein source you like. Sometimes I use beef, sometimes I use, like if you have leftover steak, then you can make a steak Crunchwrap. That's so good, I love it. But chicken has a lot of protein, especially chicken breast. This is breast, by the way, I forgot to tell you guys. And so that's what I like to use, and it's easy to cook and it's relatively affordable, I guess. So yeah, just chop it up into small cubes like so. All right, so we got the chicken chopped up. Now, next step, very important step to be able to fold the tortilla nicely is you wanna heat it up. So we're just gonna use the grill again. Told you guys, this guy is my best friend. Just quickly, you don't have to close it, just let it heat up about a minute or so, 45 seconds, just until it's, I was gonna say flaccid. Malleable, there. So yeah, we're gonna heat that up and put it on a plate. Flaccid. Wrong word choice. All right, that's about it. There you go. All right, now that that's warm, let us begin the assembly. So the way I like to do this is I put a chicken layer first. Just put that in the middle. So you want to make sure that it's in the middle so you have space to fold. I drop that fork. Next, just a little bit of cheese so that cheese kind of melts on the chicken. Put that around so that every bite has some cheese. And then you gotta eat your vegetables. So you got some tomato. You could also add some Tostitos salsa or queso. It's not super calorie heavy, so it's very doable, but for this recipe, I'm just going with the most basic. You can just put whatever toppings you like, honestly, and whatever vegetables you like. But I like tomatoes. I love the taste and the mouthfeel. Oh, by the way, I also kind of drained these tomatoes so that it's not too wet. And then just gonna prepare this. Just hit it with some cooking spray again before we heat it up. And then lastly, this layer of cheese. This is a lot and it might not close fully. So we're gonna put this cheese as a sealing layer, literally to seal it over. Because when it heats up, it'll close the top, ideally, if everything goes well. Things could also not go well and this could just fail. Still yummy though. So now that you have that, just pat it and bring everything center. Oh, that looks so good, but it's gonna look even better later. Okay, so watch this technique. This is the technique. So first you fold it in there. This side. This side. This side. This side. And there. You'll notice that it doesn't close perfectly, and that's why the cheese is there. Now we're gonna quickly run over it to the George Foreman and just press this. Woo! And 3, 2, 1. And now we wait. Listen to that sizzle. That's the cheese. You don't want to raise it too early because then it'll like open up. You want to give the cheese some time to like bind it together. So this is the part that's kind of tricky. If anything is tricky about this recipe at all, give it maybe like a minute or so. All right, we're gonna lift it. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that looks good. You see how the cheese looks like crusted over? Look at that cheese. So it just did its job. So we're gonna pull it off and we're gonna eat. All right, so what I like to do is just put the plate here and slide. All right, so we got the food here and look at that. There you go, look at that. Now we're gonna cut into this. Oh, I forgot a fork. Steel's fork. Oh, that's, oh my gosh. I'm so hungry right now. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Front and center. Oh, that looks so good. The cheese just melted all the way through. And that chicken and tomatoes. Oh my lord. Oh, that looks so good. All right, I'm gonna thoroughly enjoy this because I am starving. So yeah, that is the first recipe. Macros and calories for this recipe are as follows. 596 calories. But as I said, it is worth it because it has 64.4 grams of protein. It has 20.2 grams of fat and 36.1 grams of carbs. So yeah, pretty good macros, I think. This is definitely worth it. This is a really good lunch recipe. I love making this for lunch. And yeah, time to enjoy. See you guys in the next recipe. All right, guys, so we are here at our farmhouse in Laguna. Different set, new kitchen, super stoked. All right, so for tonight, our second recipe is spaghetti bolognese, but for the pasta, we're gonna be using this. This is protein pasta, soybean protein pasta. So it doesn't have a lot of carbs, and instead it has a lot of protein. So yeah, this is what's gonna make this dish worth it in terms of our protein count. So aside from that, so this is another very basic dish. You just basically put it together. We have some tomato sauce of the Barilla variety. This is Basilico. And we got some ground beef. This is 90-10 ground beef. And lastly, it is not Pinoy spaghetti if we do not have any hot dogs, but for the hot dogs, we're gonna be using turkey sausage. You guys know I love my turkey sausage, so yeah. This is for 2 servings me and Red are gonna have tonight. So yeah, I got a pot boiling in the back and we're gonna toss our pasta in for exactly 4 minutes. I find that 4 minutes is enough to get it al dente, and then you're gonna cook it in the sauce a little bit more, so yeah. All right, so our ground beef, we put some salt and pepper, and we're just gonna hit this with some more cooking spray. Ooh. Shit. Anyway, all right, that's some cooking spray, and I'm afraid this is gonna explode actually. Nope, it's not gonna explode. Mix that in till it's cooked. And while that's cooking, we are gonna toss our pasta in for exactly 4 minutes. So we're gonna time that. You wanna make sure that you get the pieces of beef like separate. All right. Now we're gonna toss our sausage in. That is the 2 parts, and then we're gonna add the Barilla tomato sauce into this, and then we're gonna have it separated. And then yeah, you just wanna toast these a little bit. So I kinda like the ground beef more toasty, so it has that like nice crunch a little bit. So what's nice about this pasta is it feels like pasta, but it doesn't have a lot of carbs. I mean, carbs aren't bad, but we're going for the protein here. So if we can get protein while eating pasta, then that's a win in my book. Put that there. And you're gonna want to toss this so it stops cooking. You'll know it's ready when you can just use your hand to hold it. Make sure everything's cool. There, nice. There, we can leave that there just to drain. And then we come back here. We're just gonna put that in. Oh, that looks good, right? Now, we want this to be a little bit more runny, so we can add a little water. So we're just gonna leave that there for a little bit, just to cook. That's gonna reduce as it cooks. So while we're here waiting for this, let's talk about the macros and the calories. So this has 445 calories, and in it has 45.3 grams of protein, 16.6 grams of fat, and 26.4 grams of carbs. With the turkey sausage adds 13.8 grams of protein more, 9.2 grams of fat, and 2.9 grams of carbs. So yeah, extra protein. All right, so that's pretty much reduced. Now we're gonna take this off and we're gonna serve. Take a look at that. That is dinner. I'm gonna enjoy this, and then let's cook some dessert. All right, now it is time for dessert, and for dessert, we're gonna have Anabolic Ube French Toast Soufflé. Long name, but yeah, that's just my way of describing it because it's fluffy, it's French toast, it's anabolic because there's lots of protein. And I actually got this recipe. Well, this recipe was inspired by Greg Doucette and his anabolic French toast, but I have a little twist to it because I like to put some protein powder, and I do something to the egg whites that makes it a little bit more interesting. So yeah, what you're gonna need for this are 5 egg whites. So I like to use 5 egg whites because lots of protein. I don't put the egg yolk because that adds a lot of calories. The egg white calories are like 17, the egg yolk are almost like 60. So yeah, This gives us a lot of volume. We're gonna need 2 slices of Ezekiel Almond Bread. So almond bread, I love this. This has a lot of protein as well, 14 grams of protein per slice. Next is your choice of whey. So I'm just putting 30 grams of whey. That gives us a lot more protein. And then, of course, it can't be ube without some ube extract, some cinnamon, and a sweetener of your choice. I like to use stevia. And then you guys saw in the previous video, I ate this with some maple syrup from Walden Farms. But this time we're gonna spice things up, and ube and cheese always goes together. So here I've got some grated Parmesan and some mozzarella, and we're gonna put that between the 2 slices of toast later. So that's gonna just make it a little bit more savory and sweet. All right, so first step, we got a pretty wide bowl. We're gonna use this to mix everything in. So we're gonna add our egg whites. I already separated the egg whites from the egg yolks. And yeah, that's 5. And so you're also gonna need a hand mixer for this. And basically we're gonna work this until we get some stiff peaks. So yeah, it's about to get loud. So you'll know that this is almost done when it doesn't stick to the side anymore. And look at the egg whites. Now they're really fluffy and it has a lot of volume. So with 5 egg whites, we've turned this into something really big and will fill us up real well. So we're almost done here, and take a look at this. And stiff peaks. Yep. All right, so next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add some of the things that's gonna flavor this. So that's gonna be the Ube Extract, the stevia, and some cinnamon. We're gonna put the whey last because we're gonna give this a blend first, and then we're gonna put the whey because this is usually the heaviest part and we don't want it to break down while we put everything else. So half a teaspoon of Ube Extract. Next is the stevia. I usually go with 2 teaspoons. So we got this tiny ass spoon here. Depends on how sweet you like it. I like it like regularly sweet. The whey will also give some sweetness. Here I'm using Whale, the clean caramel, because it's sweet and it's nice and it gives a little oomph to it. And then just, as Will likes to say, a few spanks of cinnamon. Now we're just gonna spin this together and blend. Now we got this really nice purple fluff. And this is gonna be what we're gonna put our bread in. Now we put on our whey and we're gonna weigh our whey. We want it to be 30 grams. So this is gonna add the extra sweetness to this. If you guys like it sweet, and just a little bit more. And just there, that's 30 grams. Perfect. And now we're gonna just work this in. So first you wanna give it a little bit of a stir using so that the powder just doesn't fly everywhere. And then you can start. Oh, that smells so good. The caramel is coming through. And then you just wanna work this until it's smooth again. Oh, that's looking nice. And we're just gonna tuck this.
Who's your daddy?
Don't want to waste any of that. That's muscle right there. With a spatula, we're gonna just get the sides because some of that whey just sticks to the sides. Work that in. Look at that nice, beautiful fluff. Look at that. All right. Now we're gonna add our bread, and this is the technique here. So you put the bread on top. Your almond bread. You can use whatever bread you want, but almond bread, extra protein. Just push that down and then cover the sides like that. And then your next slice, same thing, push it down and cover the sides. Look at that. So what you want is that everything is covered up and the bread will just soak in all that fluff. And you want to use a nice spatula so you can just cover everything, and just look at that. Everything's covered up. You can barely see the bread. All right, now you want to leave this for at least 5 minutes just to soak. And while we leave this for 5 minutes, we're gonna get our pan ready. All right, so for your pan, you're gonna want a pretty wide pan because you're gonna try to fit both slices of bread here as well as the fluff. And then you also want a lid because the steam is gonna cook that fluff, that egg. So it's gonna help you get that really nice fluffy texture. All right, so that should be okay. I think we let it soak for a bit. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this here and just gently, so be careful with this because it's really soaking up all that egg, and just place it there. Oh, it's so heavy. Look at that. And we just put these two apart. And then now we have excess and we're gonna just put that on top. So this is why you're gonna want a pretty deep pan because of all this. And you're just gonna plop that on. Let's lower the heat a little. You wanna make the most of all that fluff. That looks really good. Now we're gonna let that just cook for 2 minutes. We're gonna put some water so it gets a little steamy inside. Ooh, there you go. And leave that for 2 minutes. And then we wait. So about halfway through, we just add a little bit more water to help it cook. And we about 30 more seconds. In 10 seconds, we're gonna check this out and we try to flip it. Hopefully it works. Sometimes it doesn't. All right, I think it's about time. Check it out. Look at how huge that is. That is what I mean by volume. Now, we're just gonna look at that. And flip. And look at that. Flip. Look at how thick that is. And now is the time we're gonna put our cheese on one of these slices. And just let that cook. Look at that, that looks great. And now we're just gonna add some more water to help that through. And cover that. And leave that for another 2 minutes. The cheese should melt and we should have something quite good. Look at this. Oh, she thick. She thick. And yep, that's the timer. Let's put this aside. Turn off the heat. And first goes this guy. Bottom slice. And plate that. And then top slice. Look how huge that is. Look at that. Look at how, this is my face. Look at how big this thing is. So our 2 pieces of toast turned into this thing. And yeah, now the residual heat will melt the cheese and it's gonna be really good. Let's get to trying this. All right, so we're gonna dig into this. Look at that. I hope it doesn't fall. Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, all right, let's slice into this. Oh my goodness. Look at, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. We need a thumbnail for this thing, dude. All right, so I really want to eat this really quickly, so let's just go with the calories and macros for this. The calories for this is 400 calories and it has 69 grams of protein. Nice. And the fat is 29.5 grams of fat and 6.2 grams of carbs. We have bread here, but it's almond bread, so it doesn't really give a lot of carbs. So the French toast itself is 400 calories, and then you can add as much cheese as you want depending on how it'll fit your calories. So this is great for a pre-workout, breakfast, dessert, whatever you want to do. So yeah, look at that. It looks so good. Let's try it. Well, I've already tried this, but look at that. with that cheese. Look at that. Okay, first bite. Oh my gosh, this is huge. Perfect balance with the cheese. You get that savory and you get the sweetness from the ube. Oh my god. You guys have to try this. Super simple, super easy, great macros. Look at that. It is so good. It is so light and spongy. It's almost like a cake. It's basically a cake. It's like an ube cake with cheese. Oh my gosh. You guys have to try this. If there's one thing you should take away from this video, it's this recipe. So yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy this and then I'll see you guys tomorrow for our 4th recipe. All right, so we've been having some diet food, low-calorie food, low-ish calorie food, and now it is time to treat ourselves. So we're gonna make something. This dish is actually the highest in terms of calories, but it's also the highest in terms of protein that we're gonna make in this video. So yeah, this is basically a protein sandwich and we're gonna have fun with it. This is a cross between a Philly cheesesteak sandwich and Cat's Deli kind of pastrami sandwich, because we're not gonna be using a hoagie, is that what it's called? I don't know, like the long bread, because we're gonna be using almond bread. So the ingredients we're gonna be using today, of course, we got our beef. So the beef I'm gonna be using is some Sukiyaki beef. Just any thinly sliced beef will do. This is what I got, so yeah, let's use it. Next is some mozzarella cheese. So that's gonna be our cheese. And of course, we're gonna have a couple, no, 3 cheese slices. So this is basically protein squares. And this is the low calorie version. This is 39 calories for 1 square of cheese. So this is gonna go on top. We also have some onions. We're gonna saute this. And some Walden Farms mayo just to go on the bread for when we toast it. So yeah, those are the ingredients. The beef, what I did to this was I just put some salt, pepper, and of course our favorite, some Tajin seasoning. Gotta love that. So yeah, now let's head to the stove and let's get cooking. All right, so first things first, let's hit it with some pan spray. And we're gonna saute these onions. That was definitely not 1/8 of a second. Still 0. Let's just put that in. You want these to be just a little brown, not really caramelized because you're not using butter. And while that is sauteing, let's get our bread ready. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna put some mayonnaise on this. It's just a small coating mayonnaise, just thinly. We're gonna use to toast our bread is a mini George Foreman here. Just gonna hit it with some cooking spray, and we're gonna throw our bread inside just to toast that bread. Listen to that sizzle because of that mayonnaise. So what you want is the onions to just be nice and soft. You see the grill marks are starting to show. So the onions are almost done. And since we're gonna cook them again later, let's pull them off. And our bread should also be done. Yeah, that looks good. And now it is time for our beef. So we're gonna hit this again with some cooking spray. Lay our beef inside. So you want them to be flat so they'll cook evenly. So they'll cook pretty quick. So you want low heat. And just flip that, flip, flip. So they're really thin. This is why we chose thin cut. Cover that. So 3 squares is enough for this recipe, I think, because we're still gonna add our secret ingredient. Not really secret, I've been using it all the time. Some mozzarella on top. So you kind of want to just get that on top so it melts onto the beef. And then now we wait, so you can clean up your kitchen and get your bread ready. And then we're just gonna let the cheese melt all over the beef. All right, so it's been about a minute, so let's check this out. Let's open this. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's about ready to go. Now we're just gonna get this, get our plate of bread ready. Look at that. Look at that. Just put that directly on. Oh, this is gonna get messy, but in a good way. Now you're gonna wanna get all the cheese you can because you tracked it for your calories. Now you just want to spread this a little evenly, and will you look at that? That is our sandwich. Now we just close that. And that's your sandwich. Let's cut it open. Just give it a nice pat and let's slice it. Slice it. And check that out. Oh my God. That looks good. All right, so before we eat, I'm gonna talk about the macros of this. This has 704 calories. The protein is super worth it though. It has 81.5 grams of protein, 54.9 grams of fat, and 11.4 grams of carbs. So basically this is a protein sandwich because your bread has a lot of protein, your meat, your cheese has a lot of protein, and then your bread again has a lot of protein. So yeah, this is worth it because the grams of protein per 10 calories is over our ratio. So yeah, I'm just gonna enjoy this now, and then I'll see you guys for the last recipe. All right, so we are here now for the last recipe. We are filming outside on the porch just for a change of scenery. And yeah, it feels really nice. It's a nice and rainy day, and we're just gonna cook here al fresco. So if you guys didn't know, I'm actually part Chinese, and so for this recipe, I'm gonna dishonor my ancestors for the sake of gains and keeping calories down. So we're gonna make some cauliflower Chinese sausage fried rice. So the ingredients we're gonna need are our riced cauliflower. This is the earthly choice one. I got 3 bags here. I'm gonna have 1.5 bags each. So I'm cooking for me and Red again. We have our Chinese sausage, soy sauce, and sesame oil. We got our garlic and onions finely chopped up, and we got 4 eggs whole. We want the yellows so it turns yellowish, but yeah, anyway. All right, so first things first, let us turn on the stove, and we are gonna put our cauliflower rice. So basically all you have to do with this is hit it with some oil and then put it in and put some water. So what's nice about this rice substitute is that it is super low in calories compared to, well, rice. So what's really nice about using cauliflower rice instead of normal rice is that normal rice has a lot of calories, while cauliflower rice, very little calories. 1 bag only has 60 calories. So if you want to double the volume, it's really easy to do it. And yeah, this just makes this recipe so much less in calories compared to if you use normal rice. That should be okay. We're gonna transfer this to a bowl. Then we're gonna get started on the vegetables, or rather the onion and garlic, but I'll call it vegetables. I mean, cauliflower is also a vegetable. We're just gonna pretend it's rice. What's really nice about garlic is that it's so low in calories, but it gives so much flavor. So yeah, just gonna cook that there. Then after that, we're gonna add in our Chinese sausage, which is gonna give a lot of protein. So 1 sausage has 21 grams of protein. So that's a really good protein source. And then we add our eggs. So yeah, that's a good amount of protein that makes this dish worth it. So once it starts to get brown, that's when you know you are in a good place. So we got 2 sausages here for me and Red. Oh, that is so good. This just smells so good. All right, now we're just gonna put this to the side. Oh, this is what's gonna give so much flavor and make this dish so good. All right, now for this part, we're gonna lower the heat because we're gonna put our egg in. So we have 4 scrambled eggs here. We're just gonna hit that again with some pan spray, just a little bit. We're gonna add in our eggs, and then once it starts curdling, we're gonna add in our rice. Just let that move around. And let's add in our rice. That is a lot of volume for only this whole bowl, 180 calories, just the rice, of course. Now we add back our Chinese sausage, onions, and garlic. And then we put in our sesame oil and give that a good mix. That looks so good. Oh my gosh. We're gonna give this some color and some salt by putting in 2 teaspoons of soy sauce. So just a little bit first. You want to add soy sauce to taste. So if you like it salty, then add more. If you're not a big fan of it being too salty, then less. And now we're gonna put some salt and pepper to taste. So just a little bit of pepper. And a little bit of salt. And mix that in. And then let's try that. Yep, that's good. And then we're done. We're gonna plate. All right, so we got it plated, and this is what I'm having for dinner tonight. Oh, I'm so excited. This is so much food. So for this is 474 calories. It has 42.7 grams of protein, 25.7 grams of fat, and 30.2 grams of carbs. So yeah, pretty good meal. This goes well with like anything. So usually when we have sweet and sour pork or like anything Chinese, I make this, and yeah, it's really good and it's pretty low on calories and has a good amount of protein. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video of my 5 go-to recipes for dieting and basically food that you can still enjoy while being on a deficit. So yeah, subscribe if you vibed this video. If you didn't, then thank you for watching all the way through. I'll see you guys next time.